scientific fields, including scientists, INSIS, vocation, creatives, MarTech, electrics, Plan, interdisciplinary school. ITS is a space for the new generation who are hungry for knowledge because it provides a wide range of references in both physical and digital form. ITS makes it easier for the new generation to access information by providing flexible classes. ITS keeps moving forward in facing future challenges by providing the best facilities for the new generation's activities. The facilities support both spiritual and physical needs. ITS also provides research facilities in the ITS Science Technopark, including ICT and robotics, automotive, maritime, and creative industries. Therefore, the excellent generations from ITS will emerge and make history. ITS is a space for the new generation to express themselves. ITS is a place where the new generation learns new things and finds their purpose. ITS has become a place where the new generations that carry the future will be born.
ITS is a campus of science and technology, which focuses on the research and innovation, presenting technology for prosperity.
With the spirit of heroism, ITS brings the future before us. ITS, advancing humanity. The world keeps evolving. The times keep changing. The new generation of technology. The new generation of information. They bring the future before us. Institut Teknologi 10 November. A place where the spirit of heroism underlies the new generation to research and
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bella, and my partner
My name is Zulfikar.
Welcome to International Conference on Information and Communication Technology and Systems (ICTS).
First of all, let us praise to the Almighty God for allowing us to come here and participate together in this occasion.
For today's agenda, we will be having two workshops, with the first workshop, Image Captioning with Deep Learning by MD Zakir Hossen, Ph.D.
And the second workshop, Social Media Analytics by Ismail Fahmi, Ph.D. The workshop session will be moderated by Mr. Abdul Munif. To the moderator, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the Master of Ceremony. Okay, yeah. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the workshop of ICTS 2021. This is the workshop session that will be delivered by two presenters. The first presenter will be Dr. Muhammad Zakir Hussain. He received his PhD degree from Murdoch University, Australia in 2021. His research area are computer vision, machine learning, and natural processing, and especially image captioning with deep learning. He is currently an associate professor at Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Comilla University, Bangladesh. He is the lead author who wrote the paper, a comprehensive survey of deep learning for image captioning that was published in ACM CSUR and received hundreds of citations. So, Dr. Zakir Hussain is already here. Maybe we can say hello to him. Hello, Dr. Zakir Hussain.
Hi, hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Yeah. Okay, are you ready to present your workshop?
Yes, I'm ready. So I know that my time is at 8:15, right?
Yes. Okay. For the attendees or participants who are willing to ask question for the presenter, you can wait for the question and answer session, or you can also write down your question in the chat box below. It is encouraged that you use English to ask question. However, if you are unable to write down question in English, you are also welcome to write it in Bahasa, and I will translate it to the speaker. Okay, Dr. Zakir Hussain, if you are prepared and ready, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you. So first, I would like to share my presentation.
Okay, please. Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to present. Sorry, my PowerPoint is taking time to open. So please keep patience.
Yes, it's okay.
Can you see me? And can you also see my PowerPoint presentation?
Not yet. Maybe you share only this window. You can reshare and then share again the PowerPoint presentation.
I already shared the presentation.
Okay, I'm sorry, but maybe if you have difficulties to share your screen, you can send us the presentation and I will help you to share. Because right now we still see a blank screen.
Okay, then how can I send my file to you?
Maybe you can send it to the chat room, or maybe you can send to Pak Udan, and I will get it from Pak Udan later.
I already sent it to Hudan's email. So please ask Hudan.
Okay, I will ask Dr. Hudan to send it to me, and then I will help you to share your presentation.
Yeah.
And during the presentation, if you are willing to move to the next slide, please inform me.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Zakir, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, please. I will start. You can start your presentation. I will start right now.
So should I on my video or I should off my video?
If your bandwidth is low, yeah, it's okay if you turn off your video.
Yes. So
yeah.
that's good for me. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome to my workshop. My workshop topic is deep learning techniques for image captioning. I am Mohammad Zakir Hussain. I am Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Kumilla University. So please go to the next slide. So today I am going to present my presentation based on these four sections. First, I will discuss the background of image captioning, and then I will discuss the different methods, experiments, and results I have done so far on this topic. And I will show my publications. And finally, I will discuss the conclusion and future works. So please go to the next slide. Look at the picture. As human, we can easily describe this picture that this is a flower. But can you imagine? It's very difficult for a machine to express this is a flower. So my job is to make machine intelligent, in such a way that even machine will be able to describe this picture that this is a flower. Please, next slide, please. What is image captioning? We know that a title, short explanation, or description of an image is called image captioning. So as a human, we don't need any intelligence and any learning to describe a picture. But if we want to make machine intelligent to describe a picture, we need to teach machine about image understanding, that is the objects contain the image, their attributes, and the relationship between the objects. It also needs syntactically to generate syntactically and semantically correct sentences. So there are two parts. One is image understanding, and another is generating syntactically and semantically correct sentences. So here is another example of image captioning. This is an image or picture, and the caption is kids playing soccer on the ground. This is just a simple caption, but we will see that how machine generates a caption for an image. Yes, please, next. What is the purpose of image caption? Why we need image caption? You can see in the picture that a blind man, that's visually impaired man, is walking. So normally he cannot see anything. But if he holds a stick, and if this stick contains an intelligent device, then it can guide him easily. It can say him that there is a tree in front of him, or there is something is left, or there is something is right. So this is very helpful for a visually impaired people. And if you think a robot, and robot can teach even kids. Look at the picture. Robot is teaching the kids. So that's very amazing. And another application can be image captioning can be used, text-based image retrieval. Please, next slide. Please, next slide. So, in a word, image captioning has two main parts. One is visual understanding, and another one is natural language understanding. Please, next. This is visual understanding. When you say visual understanding, that means machine needs to understand the different objects in the image, their attributes and relationships. So objects, what is objects? Here we see that there is a girl, a dog, and a chair. And the attributes can be different color and shape of those objects, and then finally the relationship between these objects. So that's visual understanding. And yeah, please, next. And another important part is syntactic and semantic understanding. Here there are three pictures. One is football. So if we simply say that this is a football, that's not enough to describe this picture, because we need to say this is a red football. So machine should be taught in such a way that it can also describe an image with the attribute. Similarly, if machine describes the second picture that this is book and hand, it is okay, but it is not perfect. So to describe it perfectly, machine need to describe it that book in hand. And similarly, the third picture is car, but it should be described tilted car. Please, next. And a typical image captioning pipeline. A typical image captioning pipeline usually comprises an image encoder and a language decoder. CNNs are widely used as the encoder, while LSTMs are as the decoder. So therefore, two main elements. One is image feature extraction. CNN is used for that. And another one is language decoder. To describe this picture in language, we need language decoder. Please, next. This feature extraction model from images is a neural network that that image is able to to extract the salient features and often form a fixed length vector. The extracted features are an internal representation of the image, not something directly intelligible. Yes, please. So this is a block diagram. First, we give an input to the CNN, and CNN extracts the features from images, and then we get a fixed length encoding vector. Yes. And the second part is language model. For image captioning, the language model is a neural network that extracted features from the network is capable of predicting the sequence of word, the description, and build up the description conditional on the words that already been generated. It is popular to use a recurrent neural network, such as long short-term memory or LSTM, as the language model. Each output time step generates word in the sequence. Yes, please. So here is the block diagram for language model. That is, we put the fixed length vector, which we achieve from the image encoder. That fixed length vector will put to the LSTM, and then LSTM will generate a sentence by generating word by word. Yes, please. So finally, we combine these two networks, that is image encoder and language decoder. Then we see that the whole diagram, that is first we will put an image to the feature extraction model that can be a CNN, and in another part we give word as an input, and then this word is converted to word embedding model, and finally we put these two vector, one is word embedding and another is feature extraction vector. These two vector we put to the LSTM model, and this will generate a word, then next time a word. So sequentially it will generate word and word and word, and finally we'll get a sentence, that is image caption. Yes, next please. So we may have a question, that is, what is word embedding? Simply, if we simply just define the word embedding, the word embedding is a large representation for text where the word that have the similar meaning have similar representation. For example, king and queen have the similar representation. University teacher and students can have the similar representation. So that is word embedding, and you can embed a word using various techniques. You can use embedding layer, you can use word to vector, you can use globe. Please. So more easily, we can look at this table and we see that there is an example. The input sequence is little girl running in the field. So just think that we are using this caption during the training time. So in the training time, and we have an image. So first we put this image, and there is a word, the start sequence. So two input for the LSTM. This photo is not just exactly the photo. It is a vector that we extract by using a CNN. Okay, so we use a CNN to get the image features, and this is that image features. This is image features, and this X2 is start sequence. Just when we start training or when we generate a sentence, we use a fixed word, that is start sequence. This is common for every image captioning. So in my model, I use this start sequence. So if we put this photo and start sequence, we will get output word. that word is little. That word is little. And the second sequence, we'll put again the image features, start sequence, and little. So in that time step, we will get girl. And the next time step, we'll put the image features, start sequence, little, girl. In this time step, we will get running. So in this way, we will get the different words of the whole sentences. Okay, please, next. I have done 4 comprehensive experiments using my own methods. So now I'm going to describe these methods, experiments, and the results which I have achieved. So we already know that a typical image captioning pipeline usually comprises an image encoder and a language decoder. And CNNs are widely used as the encoder, while LSTMs are used as the decoder. So a variety of CNNs, including attention mechanism, are used to generate meaningful and accurate captions. So there is one important thing is attention mechanism. So we can use also an attention mechanism in image caption. So what is attention mechanism? Attention can selectively focus the important or relevant objects from the image, which I am going to describe. So my 4 experiments and methods is: number 1, we investigate an attention-based LSTM on image features extracted by DenseNet. Secondly, we investigate and analyze BISAN, that is bidirectional self-attention, to utilize the historical context as well as any past context in caption generation. We further extend the work by using an additional CNN layer to incorporate structural local context together with the historical and future context. Finally, we investigate and analyze the use of synthetic images for training and testing of image captioning. Please, next. First experiment. What's the problem? Problem is to recognize the objects correctly and to focus on the relevant objects. Our aim is to generate captions that can incorporate correct and relevant information. And our proposed solution is we use DenseNet with an attention mechanism that can extract correct and relevant objects from image. So please, next. Okay. What is correct and relevant objects? Why we are going to discuss correct and relevant objects? Look at this picture. So without other CNN, that means not DenseNet, if we use attention with other CNN, then that CNN describes this image like this: a man holding a piece of pizza. But clearly we can see that this is not a pizza. So if we use DenseNet, but if we don't use attention, then the machine generates a woman is with a dog in a background. There is also still there is something incorrect in this caption, that is it generates woman, but this object is not woman, it's man. Similarly, if we look at the second picture, if we use the other CNN, not DenseNet, then we get a group of people holding up umbrellas. And if we use DenseNet, but if we don't use attention, then we get young girls are running near a street. So these are the problems of existing methods. That's why I propose a DenseNet with attention. And please go to the next slide. Yeah, this is the architectural diagram of my method. This is the image, and this is DenseNet. So, and this is attention mechanism. So, attention mechanism. What does attention mechanism? It selects the relevant objects. So we see that there are many objects in this image. So we don't need all the objects to generate a caption. We need the relevant and important objects. So that's why we use attention mechanism to get the relevant object. So attention mechanism can help us to include the relevant objects in the caption, and DenseNet can extract the correct information, not like if in our image we have man, but if we have seen that other CNN describe it as a woman. So if we use DenseNet with attention mechanism, it can correctly generate the caption with relevant objects. Yes, please, next slide. So look at that image, previous image. So ground truth captions for this image is man on board holding his dog in his lap, dog and his owner on the back of a boat. So these are ground truths that is given captions in the data set. And if we use BGGNet plus attention, you know BGGNet is also a popular CNN. So if we use BGGNet with attention, in that case, machine generates a man holding a piece of pizza. And if we use DenseNet without attention, it generates a woman is with a dog in the background. But if we use DenseNet with attention, we get a man sitting on a board with a dog, which is similar to the ground truth caption. So if you see the ground truth caption, and if you also see the DenseNet with attention, you see that this is better captions than this method. So this is qualitative analysis result. I am describing the result using both qualitative and quantitative analysis. So this is the qualitative analysis. So next slide contains quantitative analysis. Please go to the next slide. Oh, this is the example of for another image. Yes, here's the ground truth captions for this image is a couple of little girls holding pink umbrellas. Two small girls run around with colorful umbrellas. So these are two ground truth captions given in the data set. And when we use BGGNet with attention, it generates a group of people holding up umbrellas. And if we use DenseNet without attention, it generates young girls are running near a street. But when we use DenseNet with attention, it generates more relevant and meaningful image caption. That is a couple of kids walking around with colorful umbrellas. That is more meaningful and correct regarding this ground truth caption. Yes, please go to the next slide. Okay. For my experiment, I use MS COCO dataset that is publicly available. You can easily find it. So this is very large dataset. It contains 82,783 images for training and around 40,000 images for validation. And each image has 5 different ground truth captions. So I used mostly these MS COCO datasets in my experiment. And to evaluate the image caption with ground truth captions, we use 4 different metrics. One is BLEU, that is bilingual evaluation understanding. And these metric, how it works, it counts matching n-grams. You know, matching n-grams means it counts either single word by word or double word by word or triple word by word. So that is n-grams. And another metric is Meteor, that is metric for evaluation of translation with explicit ordering. It matches stemming and synonym. We know if we have knowledge on natural language processing that stemming and synonyms we know, and stemming is just the main word in most cases. So Meteor metric matches stemming and synonyms. And another metric is ROG, recall oriented understanding for existing evaluation. it evaluates educacy and fluency. And another metric is CIDER, consensus-based image description evaluation. It focuses on grammaticality and salience. Salience means importance, important objects, relevant objects. Okay. And so yes, please next slide. This is quantitative analysis for this experiment, that is tested with attention. This is the quantitative analysis. And you can see that this table contains various results on different state-of-the-art methods. So if we see the result, my method used two types of attentions. One is soft attention and another is hard attention. So if I use hard attention, then I achieve superior results in 3 different metrics, that is BLEU2, BLEU3, and BLEU4. And BLEU1, the result of score of BLEU1 is slightly inferior than the best results. Best results is 71.8 and my one is 70.3. But the score of BLEU2 and 3 and 4 are superior than the other methods. Yes, please, next. My next method is BISUNCAP, that is bidirectional self-attention. Here, the problem of existing method is to capture both past and future context of the sequence. Of a sequence means you can consider it as a sentence of a sentence, to capture long-range dependency of a sentence. So sometimes in the sentence, we have long-range dependency. This is the first or second word is dependent on 7th or 8th or 10th word in the sentence. So this BISUNCAP, bidirectional self-attention, is better to capture long-range dependency of a sentence. Our aim is to generate longer and meaningful caption. So what is the proposed solution is bidirectional self-attention has been proposed as a language decoder. It can compute context of a sequence both in forward and backward direction. As it is bidirectional, so it works in 2 directions, both forward and backward direction. And it also can capture the dependency of the words of long sentences. So existing image captioning method which uses CNN or LSTM. We knew that CNN can also be used as a language decoder. Sorry, and LSTM is popularly used as a language decoder. So these 2 types of network both has some problems. For CNN is better to extract the local context, but it cannot extract features past and future context. But LSTM can extract past and future context, but it has 2 main drawbacks. One is it cannot extract local context, and sometimes it fails to extract the long-range dependency of a sequence. Yes, please, next. Simple, this is a simple diagram. There is fully connected network, and one is forward mask and another one is backward mask. We concatenate these 2 vectors, and then we finally get the bidirectional self-attention. For you information, again, I would like to describe that bidirectional self-attention, it doesn't use any CNN or LSTM in the decoder model. So that's why it is faster than other networks, because LSTM works that it generates a word sequence by sequence. So it needs a lot of time. But bidirectional self-attention, it can process parallelly. That means it can process multiple words at a time. So that's the great advantage of bidirectional self-attention. Yes, please, next slide. Yes. So this is the architectural diagram of bidirectional self-attention. You see that there is little bit change in the encoder, but the decoder, no LSTM, no CNN, the bidirectional self-attention. There is this is inter-attention, that means attention between encoder and decoder. And there is, we usually use softmax to generate this words, feed forward and mask bidirectional self-attention. And here we use the ResNet, and this is the feature map we get from image, and this is intra attention. Yes, this next slide. Yes, so result analysis. Similarly, two types of analysis. One is qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis. For this image, the ground truth caption is group of people gather at the park to fly kites. And another one is a group of people are outside flying kites on sunny day. So these are two ground truth captions. When we use only LSTM as a decoder, we get person on bees flying kites. And if we use CNN as a decoder, not encoder, CNN, of course, we always use a CNN as an encoder. So we don't change anything in the encoder. We use bidirectional self-attention only in the decoder part. So if we use CNN as a decoder, we get person flying kites in a field. But when we use bidirectional self-attention, we get group of people flying kites in an open field in the sun. So this is, it is very clear that this is more meaningful and accurate captions than this caption, and this is similar to the ground truth caption. Yes, please move to the next slide. And this is another example. And the ground truth caption for this image is an old building with a clock built into the side of a tower, and black and white photo of a clock tower. So this is the ground truth caption. If we use just simple LSTM as a decoder, it generates a clock at the top of a tall tower. So it nothing says anything about building, and nothing says anything about the attribute, that is color. Here color is very important as it is black and white. If we use CNN, it generates a clock tower with a clock tower on top of it. But if we use bidirectional self-attention, then it generates a black and white photo of an old building with a clock. So we see that it includes black and white, and it also includes building, it also includes clock. So major and relevant words it can generate. That is bidirectional self-attention. So this is qualitative analysis. Now we are going to describe quantitative analysis. Yes, move to the next slide. Yes, this is quantitative analysis. So here we also show the results of state-of-the-art methods, and you see that though my result is not so good, but still we achieve better results in some metrics: blue 1, in blue 3, and blue 4, and other two metrics, RAV and CIDF. So and just the second best result is in blue 2. So this is 57.0, and slightly inferior is 56.7 in blue 2, but 73.5, which is superior, 44.0, 34.2, and 56.1. Okay. So yes, please move to the next slide. Yes. The third method, and here the problem is to capture historical, future, and local context of a sequence. to retain significant information at the pooling stage to generate superior and meaningful caption. We know that LSTM can retain the past context of a sequence, but if we use bidirectional self-attention, it can capture both past and future context. So we also need local context, which bidirectional LSTM or simple LSTM cannot capture. If we use a CNN structure with a bi-LSTM in the decoder, as a language decoder, we get historical, that means past. Historical means past, future, and local context of the sequence. And here we also use an attention pooling mechanism to retain most significant information. We know that at the pooling stage, we card some values from the final layer. So sometimes we miss some significant information, but if you use attention pooling, it can retain the most significant information. Please, move to the next slide. Yes. So this is the architecture diagram. See that, this is CNN, that is encoder CNN, not decoder. But in the decoder part, that this is bidirectional LSTM, and this is an additional convolutional layer with bidirectional LSTM. So if we combine these two networks with attention pooling, it gives meaningful and superior caption. And finally, this is attention pooling and softmax output layer, but the main addition is this convolutional layer with bidirectional LSTM. Yes, please move to the next slide. Please, yes. The qualitative analysis for this experiment. Two ground truth captions, one boy and one girl in front of a laptop. The children are enjoying an activity at home, the laptop computer. So if we use simple LSTM as a language decoder, it generates a woman in a red shirt is holding a remote. And if we use CNN as a language decoder, it generates a woman in a living room with a laptop. If we use bidirectional LSTM, it generates a woman sitting on a desk with a laptop. But if we use bidirectional LSTM with a additional CNN layer, sorry, it generates one boy and one girl at home on the laptop, which is clearly better than these captions, and it resembles the ground truth caption. Yes, we will describe another example for this experiment. Yes, please move to the next slide. Yeah, this is another example. The ground truth caption is a bird perched on bananas with trees in the background. A large green bird is standing on the peeled bananas. And use LSTM, see it generates a white bird sitting on a white table. And for CNN, a white bird sitting on a banana. For LSTM, a large green bird standing on bananas. But a LSTM with an additional CNN, a green bird standing on the peeled bananas in the background, which is not only meaningful, but is also longer than other captions. So this method can generate longer because it also include the local context. So this is longer than other captions. So this qualitative analysis. Yes, please next move to the next slide for quantitative analysis. Yes. So we compare our result with other state-of-the-art methods and see that is 56.3 for people to 33.2, 54.3, and 106.3. These all scores are superior than other state-of-the-art methods. only in blue 1 metric, our method achieved 72.1, which is slightly inferior than the best method, 73.1. Yes, please move to the next slide. Finally, there's one more method, that is synthetic images for image captioning. Nowadays, a lot of images are generated automatically, that is synthetic images, automatically generated images, synthetic images. Synthetic images can be effectively used in machine learning where there is a scarcity of label data. That is, for most of the data set, we don't have enough data for training. So if we can generate synthetic images, and if we can add the synthetic images with the real images during training time, we have found that it can perform better than the other methods. And our another problem is to develop caption generator for synthetic images. So currently there is no caption generator to generate caption for synthetic images. This method can also generate caption for synthetic images. So our main aim is to show the effectiveness of synthetic images for image captioning and improve the quality of generated captions for real images using additional synthetic images for training. What we used for this network, first, an attention-based GAN, that is generative adversarial network, is used to generate synthetic images. Then an attention-based image captioning method is used to demonstrate the results. Please move to the next slide. This is the whole architecture diagram. There are two modules. One is image generation module and another one is caption generation module. In image generation, it generates synthetic images using text. So where we get this text, we know that in the data set, this image has 5 different captions. So you use those captions to get 5 different synthetic images. We have 1 real images, including 5 synthetic images. We use these synthetic images and real images for training the caption generation module, and we have shown that this method can significantly improve the performance of caption generation. So yes, please move to the next slide. Here, this is qualitative analysis. And down to caption, this image is soccer player wearing red and black shirt kicking at a ball. And another one is man on soccer field next to ball. We use synthetic images with the with the real images, but not all synthetic images in one experiment. One experiment, we use only the synthetic images which we get from the first caption. We know that there are 5 different captions for each image. So when we use only 1 synthetic images which we achieve from the first caption together with the real images, we get a kind of result. And we also use 2 different synthetic images, we also use 3 different synthetic images, 4 different synthetic images, and finally we use all the synthetic images together with the real images. And we have found that if we use all the synthetic images together with the real images, it can generate superior captions than other methods. Look at this picture. When we use only real images and test on real images, see that a man playing a soccer ball on a field, a man standing around soccer ball, and this is with real images together with the 1 synthetic images, a man kicking a soccer ball on a soccer field. And then final one is here we use all the synthetic images together with the real images, And every time is tested with the real images. And this case, it generates a man in a soccer uniform playing soccer on a field, which is undoubtedly better captions than other methods. Yes, please move to the next slide. This is another example. Woman talking on a cell phone while wearing sunglasses. Woman with sunglasses is on her cell phone. So same other methods. And these methods are also done by me. That means I have done all these experiments, not only one experiment, 4, 5 experiments, and finally we achieve superior results when we use all the synthetic images together with the real images. And for this image, this method generates a woman wearing sunglasses talking on a cell phone. Yes, please move to the next slide. This is another example. Pizza covered in veggies on white plate sitting on a table. Pizza with red onions, mushrooms, and spinach on a plate. And on the baseline method, a pizza sitting on the top of a white plate. A pizza sitting on the top of a wooden table. Whole pizza with slices sits on a pan on the table. And when you use all the synthetic images, it generates cheese pizza with vegetables on top of a white plate on a table, which is undoubtedly better captions than other methods. Yes, please. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, I think I don't need to describe another example. Already step 2 examples. Okay. I want to describe one example because this caption is for synthetic image. Last 2 are from real images. We tested on real images, but this one we tested on synthetic images. So this is synthetic images, and these are down to captions: room with bed, bedroom, 2 tables, and comfort with a comforter, neatly made bed between adjoining beside tables. So these are baseline methods: a living room with a bed and a table, and a hotel room with a bed and lamp, a bedroom with a blanket and pillow. But when we use the best method, a bedroom with a white comforter with pillows and a table. So this example is for synthetic images. Okay. So yes, please next slide. Quantitative analysis. Here we demonstrate our quantitative results with state-of-the-art methods, including my different methods. I have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 methods for the 7 experiments for these methods, and you see that the final one, that is when you use all the synthetic images together with the real images, it achieves better results than all other methods. And 73.6 in blue 1, 54.7 in blue 2, 44.2 in blue 3, and 33.6 in blue 4. Yes, this next slide. These are my publications from image captioning. 3 journals, one published in SCM Computing Survey, that is a very good journal, and another journal is published in IEEE Access, and third one is still submitted to the Journal of Signal Processing and Image Captioning. And yes, these are journals, and please move to the next slide for conference paper. Please, next slide. Yes, these are conference paper. This attention-based image captioning using GenSnet features. This is published in International Conference on Neural Information Processing. And another one is bidirectional self-attention for image captioning, published in Digital Image Computing Techniques and Applications, DICTA. Please move to the next slide. So I want to conclude. In this research work, I've implemented different deep learning based techniques for improved image capturing. the main objective was to generate syntactically and semantically more superior and meaningful captions than the state-of-the-art methods. I have demonstrated the results using both the qualitative and quantitative analysis. I have shown that our methods achieve better results than state-of-the-art methods and are capable to generate more meaningful and semantically accurate captions. Attention-based DenseNet, the first methods, can recognize correct and relevant objects in generating image caption. Please, the next. And second method, I use bidirectional self-attention as a language detector that can capture both past and future context information of a sequence. I have demonstrated how bidirectional self-attention can be useful in generating longer and meaningful captions. I have further demonstrated the effectiveness of using an additional CNN layer with a BiLSTM as a language decoder. I have shown that the extended network is capable to extract comprehensive information in generating captions. Finally, I have justified the use of synthetic images for improved image captioning. Future direction of this thesis to focus on other form of context, for example, context of geographical region. Yes, thank you. So yes, if you have any question, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zakir, for your great presentation. Okay, next we will go to the question and answer session. Okay, please, if you have any question, I invite you to raise your hand and then you can ask your question directly. Any question?
Yes, please.
Okay, Michael Sick. Okay, wait a minute.
Yes, thank you so much for your nice presentation and nice research, Dr. Zakir. And I'm wondering about these synthetic images. If you can share what would be the result of the synthetic images generated by GAN, and also just in case the synthetic images provide ambiguous captions, how your model can make decisions. That's my questions. Thank you.
Okay, so you mean that how my model can recognize which is synthetic and which is real? This is your question?
My questions, the first question is about from your presentation, we didn't see any synthetic images in the slide.
Oh,
so that we can see, okay, there are some improvement from the synthetic images, but how do they look like? Yeah? From GAN.
Yes.
Another question is about, just in case from synthetic images, you found the model, from your model found there are some ambiguous captions. How your model can make the right decision on it?
Okay, first question is actually I do not improve the quality of synthetic images. I am improving the performance of image captioning generator. That is, if we use just the as usual dataset, that is MS-COCO dataset, it has some images for training and some images for testing. So if we simply use these images for training and those images for testing, so we get one kind of results. But if we add synthetic images together with the real images, how we get the synthetic images? Because we know that each real image has 5 different captions. So from 5 different captions, we get 5 different synthetic images using GAN. Using an attention-based GAN, we get 5 different images. So you add these 5 different images with the real images, and thus we get a bigger data set. So if we use this big data set, this model can be trained well, better than only using real images. So if we use this big data to train the model, we found that the model generates better captions, and model the performance, we see the score. So the score is also better than the other methods. So we don't improve the quality of the synthetic images. We improve the quality of the generated captions. Again, we don't improve the quality of the synthetic images. We improve the quality of the generated captions. That means if we use only real images for training, we get, for example, this one is a baseline. This is trained with only real images and testing on with real images. So for these images, this is a synthetic image. Okay, you also wanted to see a synthetic images. This is a synthetic images. Yes, I understand that. I also should have shown the real images for these synthetic images that I missed in the slide. Yes, that I missed in the slide. But this is synthetic images. This is synthetic image, and if we see the caption from different methods, we see that when we use all the synthetic images means in the data set, for this image, we have one real image, but I haven't shown that image here. So we have one real image, and we also have 5 different synthetic images for that one real images, because we have 5 different captions. So for one images, we have now 6 images. So we use these 6 images during training time. And if we use all these synthetic images together with the real images, in that case, we get better captions. If you see these captions, generated captions, you will find the differences between the captions. Okay, this one is only real images. This one is only synthetic images, and that's the quality is not good. If you see this caption, a hotel room with a bed and a lamp, this generated caption is not so good. But if we use one synthetic images together with all the real images, that is better, a bedroom with a blanket and pillow. But if we use all the synthetic images together with all the real images, then we get superior captions. We get better captions than other methods. A bedroom with a white comfort with a pillow on the table. And second question was how the model can distinguish between real and synthetic images. Okay, when training time, it don't need to recognize the synthetic images and real images. It only create every image as an image and extract the image features from all the images. And when we generate captions, that's every image is same. It just extract the features from the images, not which one is synthetic, who one is real. It doesn't matter. It extract the features from the images, so it doesn't need to recognize which one is synthetic and which one is real. You got it, Michael? Please.
Yes. Of course, this explanation I fully agree with you, Dr. Zakir. However, just to be clear, my question actually, as you see in the proposed synthetic image method that you have here, train R plus S all, right? So what is the objective? Actually try to fit with the ground truth test R, right? But in the train with the synthetic data, somehow you may have contradict in terms of the resulting captions. So you try to include additional data, that would be good, but somehow maybe the resulting synthetic images do not improve, do not coincide with the resulting captions. Did you find something like this, or it's never happened in this case?
It happened for very few cases, but most of the cases I found that it generates better captions. And I think we can also improve this model using other synthetic images. For example, here we use synthetic images generating from ground truth captions, but we also have some network which can generate synthetic images from images. So if we use real images as input to generate synthetic images, we will get also synthetic images. So we can also try to use those synthetic images, but I haven't used that network. I only generate synthetic images from ground truth captions.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much for this nice research. Of course, really great answer as well. So
thank you.
I look forward for your next research again. Thank you so much, Dr. Zakir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Michael Sik, for your question. Okay, for the participant, if you have any question, you can raise your hand, or you can also write down your question in the chat box. It is, yeah, okay. Okay, Dr. Zakir, we have a question from the chat box.
Okay.
Okay. I will read for you, or you can read it by yourself.
Yes, I'm reading.
Okay.
Just a minute, yes.
So, okay, is the model architecture can be applied in the video captioning or sequence of image? Should we put additional recurrence in the existing models?
Is the model architecture can be applied in video captioning sequences? Should we put additional recurrent network in the existing model? For video captioning, this first module, you can use, yes, you can use that one to generate synthetic images. But for caption generator, I think you cannot use this for video captioning. You have to use additional recurrent model, because for each video we have multiple slices, multiple images. So it cannot only generate caption for only multiple images. My caption generator, it can generate only for one image. Okay, so it cannot generate video caption for video. But you can use the first module, not second module. Okay.
Okay. Abid Tamasya, are you satisfied with the answer?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last part. What we can use, has or?
Okay, so again, I have two parts. One is image generation module, another is caption generation module. So you can only use image generation module, synthetic image generation module in video captioning, but you cannot use the caption generation module for video captioning, because for video captioning, as we have multiple slices, multiple images, we cannot use only one recurrent model. Okay.
No, okay. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Abid. Okay, the next question from the Hilya Sania. Is the model can be applied into a specific field such as medical, and can the model also use for generate caption for like an MRI image?
Yes, it's possible. it's possible to apply in a medical field, but you just need data set. If you have medical data set, you can use this model. Yes. You can use complete this model as it is. Just you need a data set. If you have a data set, and I know that for medical data, you don't have much access to get a lot of images. So in that case, I think it will be a good research in medical field. It will be very good research, because for natural images, we already have a lot of images, but for medical images, often we cannot access data for security reasons or other reasons. So if you use few images, and if you have a small data set, and if you use the synthetic images together with those images, definitely you will get better results, and that can be a good research. Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Hilya Sania, for your questions. Okay, any other question? We still have around 11 minutes for the Dr. Zakir session. If you have any question, please feel free to ask during the session. Okay, Dr. Zakir, yeah, we still haven't got any question for the participant. Maybe can I ask you some question?
Yes, please.
Hello, Dr. Zakir?
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah. Maybe I think I have some question regarding for the captioning.
Yes.
Is it possible that if the order of the caption is different? So, for example, how this description is a man holding a dog. Is it possible that the order of the detection is reverse? For example, maybe they can detect the dog first and then the man, and how it can be applied to the final caption of the image.
Okay. Actually, it mostly depends on training. In the training time, if you use reverse order, then in the generating time you will also get in reverse order. But in the training time, if you use this in this organization, that means a man is with a dog in the background, or this type of captions, so you will get this, it generates this type of, but still sometimes it does mistakes, it doesn't generate very good captions for all images. Here I have shown only the images for which I have achieved better results. So there are some images for which I haven't achieved better captions. So in that, even in that case, the model doesn't generate the captions in reverse order, because again the main thing is training. So in the training time, as the given captions are in the normal order, so in the generating time it will generate the captions in normal order. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Any other question from the participant? You can also ask directly by raising your hand, and then we will invite you to ask to Dr. Zakir. Okay. Maybe I have one question again, Dr. Zakir.
Yes.
Okay. So I interested in these examples in the detecting the activities in the park. But in some cases, if we got the image from the park, usually some of people have different activities with the other. For example, maybe some people is only sitting, and then the other people may be like running or playing with the dogs. Is it possible that you can get a different caption or maybe different activities that describe that image?
Okay. This depends on, in the training data set, if you have only just one or two images regarding this park or these things, you will not get actually good caption for this type of images. But if you have multiple images, I mean, in one images, yes, it has park with activities. In another image, it has park with different activity. So if you have, I mean, multiple images, if you have many images regarding park and activity, then yes, it will generate good captions. But in the training, if you use only one caption or two caption, it cannot, maybe it cannot recognize those activity properly.
So it is come again from the training data set, right? So if we have the good training data set, so it is possible to have the correct or maybe the appropriate caption. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. We have one question from the Mr. Taufik Khairul Amri.
Yes, please, Taufik.
Taufik, hello. Hello, Taufik Khairul Amri. Can you hear my voice?
I think his microphone is off. Please.
I already asked him
turn on
to
your
unmute.
microphone,
Okay.
please, Taufik.
Taufik, please, you can unmute your microphone first. Okay, maybe from other participant, do you have any question so far? I think Mr. Taufik hasn't responded yet, so we can go on to the next participant who are willing to ask. You can raise your hand. Okay, I think we have the question from the chat room.
Okay, for the last method, how to evaluate the generated synthetic images?
Okay.
Question. Again, I'm not improving the quality of the generated synthetic images, and I'm not evaluating the generated synthetic images. I'm just generating captions for the synthetic images and real images. So for the model, it doesn't matter whether it is synthetic or real. It does just it considers it as an image. And so what is our main purpose? Our main purpose was to improve the generated captions. And how we improve that? We use these generated synthetic images during the training time to train the model well. So we don't evaluate the synthetic images. Yes, we can generate captions for the synthetic images. We can generate captions for the real images. And we use the synthetic images for training. Have you got me? Can you please explain more detail about past, future, and local context in the caption, and how do you plan to extract the geo info from images? Does it use the same method? Okay. For first question, past, future, and local context. We know that LSTM, long short-term memory, can capture the past context. It can capture, this network can capture past context. And if we use bidirectional self-attention, then it can capture both past and future context. Okay. And that method, for that method, we use an additional CNN layer. And if you study on CNN for natural language processing, not for image processing, natural language processing, because CNN can also be used as a language decoder. That maybe many people don't know that CNN can also be used as a language, because we frequently use CNN as an image encoder, but it can also be used as a language decoder. So if you study on CNN as a language decoder, we find that it can extract local context. Okay, so when you use this CNN layer together with the bidirectional attention, it can capture both this past, future, and local context. This is first question, and second question was how do you plan to extract the geo info from the image? Yeah, that is very complex still, as I'm thinking, but at this moment I don't have clear idea about that thing, but I think there are some images which have description with geographical information. Okay, you see that these natural images, so far we have used we used, I mean, MS-COCO dataset, and there are two more datasets for image capturing, that is Flickr 8K and Flickr 30K. So those are small datasets. That's why I didn't use. But you can also use those two datasets if you are the beginner in image captioning. So you may face difficulties if you use MS-COCO dataset. There is a big dataset, so you may face some problems. So for your information, you can use Flickr 8K dataset or Flickr 30K dataset. So all these images are just these natural images collected just collected from nature. That means images for man, woman, tree, and for different animals. So these images don't have information for geographical context. But for the first time, if I can gather images which have geographical information, and also that there are some methods which can access the location, which can using Google Map or something. So if we use those type of apps with this image caption, if we combine those apps with the image caption model, then maybe if we can use it successfully, we can get the geographical information. Okay, at this moment I don't have much knowledge on this geo info, because I am planning to use. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zakir. We still have one last question from Dewi Rahmawati. Is the web dataset can be made by ourselves? Is that just from MS-COCO? For example, for MRI image, how we can have weight from that? Then how you annotate that?
Okay. So for how to annotate that is not actually my job or your job. Those who are from medical field, they can annotate the medical image dataset. We cannot annotate. We can yes, use those medical images for training and testing, or we can improve the image captioning model, but we cannot annotate. Yes, we can annotate if you have at least one or two people from medical field, then they can help you to annotate those medical or MRI data. Okay, because I have used MS-COCO dataset or Flickr 8K dataset or MS-COCO or Flickr 30K. All the datasets, they are already annotated. Okay, they are already annotated for each image. They have in some dataset they have 3 captions for each images. In some datasets they have 5 captions for each image. So they are already annotated. So we cannot annotate. We need expert from that particular field to annotate those images. Is it clear? Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I think it's clear, Dr. Zakir.
Yes.
Okay. So unfortunately, because of the time limitation, we should close the Dr. Zakir session. Thank you for your great presentation and the discussion. Hopefully, we both can get benefit from this session. And yeah, I hope that we can meet directly in the future. And maybe you can come visit us in Indonesia, Dr. Zakir.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Thank you
We
very
are
much.
very pleased if you can come to visit our university.
Thank you very much. You all are also invited to Bangladesh.
Yes.
Please come and visit.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So this is maybe the closing session for the Dr. Zakir. Finally, we will continue to our next session from Dr. Ismail Fahmi. Sorry. Yeah. He is already here. Maybe wait a minute. I will add the spotlight. Okay. Hello, Dr. Ismail Fahmi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Okay. Okay. Before starting the presentation from the Dr. Ismail Fahmi, please let me introduce him to you. So, Ismail Fahmi, Ph.D., is the founder of Media Kernels Indonesia, or well known as Drone Emprit. He received the bachelor degree from Institut Teknologi Bandung and both master and PhD degrees from University of Groningen. And he created the Drone Emprit. It is a software for social media analysis. In 2014, has been used to provide the trend and accurate analysis of particular topic on social media. Dr. Ismail Fahmi, are you ready for your presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, if you are ready, the time is yours. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul Munif. First of all, I would like to say thanks and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And first of all, thanks to ITS and ICTS 2021 for the invitation to me. It is really a great honor for me to present our work and share some finding, and maybe I expect to have a nice discussion with the participant here. Okay, our topic today with the second workshop is about social media analytics. So this is really my subject since 2014 actually, and I start to make a public analysis and share my analysis via social network as well since 2016, especially when I found a lot of disinformation in Indonesia. And in this workshop, I would like to share and how we do the social media analytics and how this will benefit in many industries, and probably also for students, lecturers, researchers, if you are interested in social media analytics in your research. Okay, this is my background. I think Mr. Munif already explained it. And okay, this is the agenda. I will start with what is the Drone Emprit. And a Drone Emprit Academic, maybe something that you can join with us and try to use our platform. It is a free platform, especially for researchers. And I will tell at the end some social media analytic features, or I mean some methodology or some algorithm that we usually use that, especially me, and when I try to make an analysis on hoax or disinformation and how I uncover some issues, because it's not only one or two features to understand something, a topic in social media. Usually we need to have like this one from trend, social network analysis, actor, and so on. Yeah, so many algorithm that we need to implement and to use it. Okay, first of all, about the drone blitz, it is a technology actually, a software that I developed in 2009 when I was in the Netherlands, and it became a company, media company in 2014 until now. And there are several projects that I developed, and the one that I will explain and will use more in this presentation is from Media Canals. But I also will share what are other tools, free tools that you can use as well in social media network and social media analytics. This is one of a background that's nice. I would like to share to you about what is drone breed. In 2017, there was a huge hoax in Indonesia. This is like the context. The hoax can be explained in this nice graph. This graph in this picture is about we call this social network social network analysis. Explain there are two groups of people in the social network, especially in Twitter. The first group, they share a hoax, and the other one is trying to combat the hoax. And in the television, because it was based on my presentation before, and when I shared this finding, I showed that with the traditional PR works, public relations that's done usually by the government, what they're doing if they have issue, usually they will make a press release, okay, and they try to send it to media, mainstream media especially, and that's all. So for example, they have 10 social they have 10 mainstream media, and then they make a clarification there. And at that moment, there was a huge hoax. There was 10 million illegal workers from Indonesia, from China, was coming to Indonesia. And that hoax was produced by you can see this one, the second groups, and the other groups try to make a clarification, but from usually mainly in mainstream media. So the conversation is not matched. One hoax is spread on social media, and the other one, the clarification in mainstream media. So we will never be able to tackle this kind of issue. So we come up with social media analytics and how we can help them. We can help the government. We can help PR agencies and everybody that and company as well when they face issues with the social media. And during 2019, we have a presidential election as well. And in the night during the debate, I present in television, and almost in real time, we analyze the conversation, and after the debate, we present the result, how people react on the debate and so on. So this is very nice that we can see in almost real time how people react, whether they use the reaction naturally, or they use bots, or they use cyber troops, and how they try to manipulate public opinion in the social media based on the conversation. Okay, this is very interesting to see that. Okay, and then these are some of our clients. Okay, and this is very interesting. Why I developed DroneBreed Academic. DroneBreed actually is for commercial, And in 2018, I found out that it is not enough if only me that share the analysis from the DroneBreed, the tool that I made. I need more people. I need more people that they can read the data, they can share the insight, whether through academic journals, or especially in mainstream media or any blogs or online news. Or otherwise, if you only have like your Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, you can use your platform to share the insight. So you go to this dashboard, the DroneBreed Academic, it is free. So it's provided by University of Islam Indonesia in Yogyakarta. So my company work together with this university, so and we provide it for free. And we invite everybody. Everybody can be student, researcher, lecturer, journalist, blogger, and hoaxbuster. Everybody. Especially this one is not for commercial, for sure. So you can have the dashboard. You can read all the issues. So this are some example of the issues like LGBT, cross-hijabber, blockchain, or any issue related to technology, about the environment, about the hoax, anything. So once you get the data, and then you can share the insight. And if you look at the Google Scholar, like the drone breed, we can find 206 so far. So this one's from 2018, I think, until now. There are quite many articles using drone breed as the data sources. And some of them have publication in journal with Q1 category, like this one about civic engagement about fire. You know, in Indonesia, almost every year we have a fire and haze disaster, and how people on Twitter react on it. And also this one related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, this is just an example about the background about the drone breed, and I make a publication also mostly free on Pairs the Drone Breed ID, and there are 5 books already, and I expect to have more books. But actually, these books representing one book like 1 month's issues in Indonesia related to any issue that we try to use big data analytic and social network and social media analytics to uncover it. Okay, now why we need to do the social media analytics? Because here we have the growth of the data on the internet. 80% are unstructured data, and only 20% are structured data. So you know that structured data is simply that you can put on a table, okay, like in Excel or in database, a structured database. And 80% are not. Why are not structured? Because you can easily find the social media messages, like on text, using text, right? Can be in images and video. All of them are unstructured, and all of them, the unstructured data produce 80% of the data. So it's very interesting and very important for us to be able to analyze not only the 20%, the structured, but also the 80%. So, and one of the data source for the 80% unstructured is social media. So it's very important for us. And if you look at the platform, especially this one, I took Indonesia as an example. The social media platforms quite a lot, from YouTube until Reddit. Okay, so you can see here TikTok was not there 3 or 4 years ago, but now it's getting a lot of traction. I think the percentage of users in Indonesia is more than 38% now. I think it could be increased a lot. Yeah. So we try to collect information from all of these social media platforms. Usually it's not easy, of course. And one of them that is very easy is from the Twitter. And for the other platform, usually we need to have a specific method, and maybe it's in not official method to get the data. And it is very interesting to see why we need to have social media analytics, because like this one, the message from YouTube, it can be just there. They have like an echo chamber, like nobody will talk about that as long as it is on YouTube. But once, let's say, 1 or 2 video on YouTube become viral on Twitter, okay, somebody pick up and then become viral, become an issue, and then online news will pick it up, and then it will become conversation on Facebook, and so on and so on. So once we know an issue, sometimes we need to know who created in the beginning, what are the motive, what are the topic, and where it's come from, and how they got viral, and so on. So it's very interesting to have multi-platform social media analytic like this. And the problem and opportunity that we have, I think, it's not only in Indonesia, and many countries, I believe, like this one, we have buzzers. In Indonesia, it's very popular. But buzzers is like people in the social media. They use their own accounts. Can be a natural account, can be a fake account, can be anonymous, and they try to amplify some issues. They try to amplify some messages. The messages can be from public, from opposition, from a group of political parties, or group of whatever. Okay, it can be from a company as well, and also from the government side, they have buzzers. So the conversations become noisy because buzzers will try to promote their opinions, and most of the time the opinions it's like the construction of idea. They try to manipulate the public opinion from the social media. So you see, noise will get noise. So vicious cycle of noise. This is what I say. But it's very interesting that we have a lot of data, but behind the data or between the data or among the data, you can read something, right? You can read signal there, we can read signal. So this is the purpose. If we can do something with all of this message and we use the big data, the purpose is that we want to get the signal. So we are not only distracted by the noises, but we want to get the signal. What are the message? Who say that? Whether it is important to change the government policy or something, or whether it's very important to be listened and become an input for a company strategy or something. So this is the purpose. So our job here in this part, in the big data analytics, and especially in our workshop today, is about the social media analytics, how we can analyze all the conversation using the big data system. And then we get the signal. The institution will use the signal for what? To make a good response, yes, one of them, and then to make a nice response, to make an engagement, to change the policy. And well, this is like a democracy. So we can help the democracy in maybe in a regional area or national area. So because people can express their opinion, and then their opinion can be heard by the government again. Okay, something like this. So this is the opportunity, the social media analytics. But before we go there, what is actually the thing that we are doing? Okay, what are the thing that we are doing in the social media analytics? This is what we are doing, data science actually. Okay, in the data science, we start with questions: why this, why that, what happened with this, why, and so on. So this is the cycle, starting from question. It's exactly the same with you as a researcher. If you're doing research, academic research, we start with research question, right? And behind research question, you have a background, why you have that research question. Exactly the same. We have the question. And then from that question, we want to have data, right? And then so we analyze to answer that, where the data come from. The data can be, let's say, the web service, from logs, from dataset, and from application, API, or social media. So in our case here, we use social media as a data source. We do some data preparation. We do the cleaning, transformation from the unstructured in order to we can process using a quantitative method. Of course, we have to change that to structured data, right? And then we do some exploratory data analysis. We start with making some experiment whether the data is good or not, whether data is enough, and then whether we can continue the next step. Okay, if not, then we have to change the data, we have to change the query, we have to change the keyword, and so on until we have a good data. Okay, so and then we continue with the data modeling. Maybe we need a machine learning. We need a kind of a sentiment analysis. Maybe we need a social network analysis, or maybe bot analysis, because we want to know whether the conversation is genuine from user or might be generated by bot or robot. So all of the data model we are doing here. And then what? Visualization, of course. We visualize the data, and there we discuss with the team, and then we want to get the insight from the visualization that we made. And then we come up with a report, and then we present again to users that have that question. So actually, this one, we talk about the data science, and we talk about the data scientists, and these are the skills that you need. We need to have like a math and statistic. We need to have like programming and database skills, and communication and visualization, of course, because data is not enough. Visualization alone is not enough. You need to be able to communicate, right? And of course, all of these will be meaningful if you know the domain. If we talk about, we implement the social media analytics on medical. For example, now we have in COVID-19 issues. Of course, we need to know, and we need to talk with people who understand about COVID-19, right? Maybe, of course, you are not a medical doctor. You are not those that understand the health and COVID-19. You know math, statistics, you know the programming, you can make visualization, you can communicate it, but you don't know the domain knowledge. Most of the time like that. So it is very difficult to have a data scientist that have all of the skill, this one. So what I think is that we can make a team here. So you need a team of data scientists, and one of them are from a knowledge domain. With this at hand, so you can apply this social media analytics using the data science things and for any domain. Can be on medical, economic, agriculture, anything. What you need is just to invite people that understand on the subject. Okay, so this is a nice book, especially on the visualization, because data like this one on the right, you know, the ticket trend with the bar chart. I don't know whether you can get the insight in just 2 seconds or 1 second. It's very difficult. You need to understand what the blue colors mean and what the red color mean. What is different in the trend here? It's very difficult to read. But once you change that to the second graph, like this one, using the line chart, it's very easy. Just 1 second, you understand. Oh, I understand now. In 1 second, you understand that the gray one is the trend of the ticket that you receive, and the blue one is the ability for you to process that. Very simple. So just the visualization, changing the method and so on will change the way people understand it. So once you have all the process, and the final one is visualization. It's very important as well. So, okay, social media. So now we come to social media analytics that usually I'm doing almost every day. What are the purposes and what are the process inside? Start with the purpose. This is what we can find the implementation of the social media analytics. You can use that for the public relation. It's exactly the same, right? With the first case that I explained to you when I was in a television showing about the hoax, about 10 million illegal workers from China coming to Indonesia, and how the government tried to handle that. I came to a ministry at that moment, and then I speak with the public relation department and how they handle that. And 2017, our knowledge about social media is not much. Social media analytics, I mean, it's not much, and now it's becoming better. So with the social media analytics, it can really help them, can really help the public relation, digital marketing, for the consumer insight department, social media management and branding. So quite a lot of solution that we can do, and so many industry that we can implement that. Almost all of this industry need this solution. Okay, what we are doing actually during the social media analytics, we start with question, of course. Anywhere, whether you are a researcher or you are a PR agency or you are a professional, when you work with the social media analytics, you start with the research question. And the question will lead you to a keyword. Okay, this is very important. You talk about something, what are the topic, and then you need to put the keyword. And of course, if the keyword, for example, if you are from academic and an institution, you make a paper, and the keywords quite often we got in journal academic, you know, quite a lot of researchers, and then when they make like an abstract, there are some keywords. The keyword is about the participation of women participation or something. So they want to know like how women participate in the development or in health issue, for example, like that. If we use that keyword and put it into Twitter, we will get 0 result or maybe very few. You know why? Because most people, when they talk about the participation, let's say the participant of human, of course they will not write participation and woman, something like that. They use other word. They will use other term and terminology or maybe context. So we need to know what are the contexts, what are the words that they really use that in order to we can get the conversation. Otherwise, we'll get 0 conversation. So it is very difficult and to get right question and then right keywords. Wrong keyword will come to wrong data. Okay, so it's very important because the next step we do the data population. Garbage in, garbage out. Of course, you will know you cannot have a nice analysis, a correct analysis, unless you have a good data, you know, right data. And to get the good data and right data, you need a good keyword and right keyword. Okay, just something like that. So once we do the population, we can use the API. For example, if you decide, I want to know the conversation in Twitter about a topic, of course, what you need to have is like API from the Twitter, you do the crawling, and then you do the analysis. This analysis is really depend on the question that you have. If your question about who and when and what and or how people grouping, how the conversation groups, who are the opposition, who are the pro-government, or who are the motor of this conversation or something. So the analysis that you need is it can be different. Yeah. If you only need to have like how many article or how many conversation about this topic, then you don't need sentiment analysis. You don't need opinion analysis. You don't need bot analysis. You just simply counting the numbers. It's enough. But you have more equation. You need more analysis. Okay, so we will come to this analysis. What are the analysis and how we do that in the next slides. And then you do the visualization and then make an insight from it. And this one is very important. Why I put this in the slides? Because we always start with the data. And as I explained before, if we have a wrong keyword and then we have wrong data and then we have wrong analysis. So it is very important. Once you have the question, the next step you need to do like pre-research. Manually search on Twitter, manually search on Google, maybe. How people use a term for the topic, for the question that you have. And most of the time, people will use a different keyword, different phrases from the question or the keyword that you have in your research. So once you have the right keyword and then you put it, and all the conversation will be put into a data lake, and you need to have like a huge database that will store all the conversation. Maybe not all of the data are useful. You need to do the filters. For example, I only need to get a subset of the data from the whole data that I got from the keyword. Okay, I only need to have data from Jakarta only. For example, the conversation in Jakarta only, conversation in Malaysia or Bangladesh only. So you need to filter it. Okay, you need to filter by the language, by other keywords, and so on. So this is very important. Be mindful to get the keyword and filters in the methodology correctly. For example, this one is the dashboard where we put the keywords. For example, in Indonesia in 2020, we have like a census. Census, okay, by BPS. BPS is like a statistic bureau of Indonesia. We work together. We help them to monitor the conversation about the census in Indonesia at that moment. So we try to use any keyword, SP 2020, something like this. Of course, this is not common keyword, right? But this is the keyword that come up there because somebody used the hashtag and so on. So where this keyword come from? It is from pre-research, and so on and so on. And then you can use the language and other keyword, whether you should include it or should not include it. Okay, and how we process all of this? Okay, this one. So the data source. For example, in our system that I develop, I use online news as a data source, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And now we are trying to use TikTok as data source. It's not easy to get the data. In the big data, the first and real problem is to get the data. Yeah. And we have several crawlers, of course, and each crawler will get the data from each of data source. And all the data will be stored. In my case, I use Solar search engine. It's because it's very nice. It's open source. It's very powerful. I put all the conversation there, and if the storage is full, and then I can expand it easily. It's very powerful, and especially in Indonesia, sometimes the electricity is down, or maybe because of a technical issue, the server is down, and again, we can make it up easily using this Solar, and then we do the analytics. And then we have the visualization of the data. in the visualization, in the analytics, okay, this part, in the analytics and the visualization, what we have, these are just example of the features in the social media analytics. We have like news analytics, so sentiment analysis, PR values, engagement, exposure, reach, and we can do the opinion analysis, topic analysis, influencers analysis, social network analysis, demography, quite a lot, right? Yeah, and I will explain some of them, maybe interest of you. And how many servers that I need? In my case, I have 12 servers, and this already stored all of the data that I have since 2014 until now, because it is all the data from the news and all the social network that I monitor, Twitter and so on. I never delete it, and I keep that because it is very important for the future research. And someday I need to analyze again the data from the past years. I have that already on my servers, because if we buy, for example, the data from Twitter, it's very expensive, but it's nice that Twitter provide academic version, right? Okay, for my analysis, I will use this one, the trumpet system, but of course you also can use KP. Okay, and then you can use KP to crawl data, especially from Twitter and other data source, and then you already have like nice visualization like this one. This is very complete. You can set the parameters, and many people use this for their research. So because they can choose what are the method to generate the graph, the modularity, the number of nodes, age, and so on. It's very nice. You can all the variable that you need for your papers. You can use KP for free. And Orange data mining, it is free as well. And I recommend this to process the unstructured data to structured data. Actually, drawing is for data mining, so it means that mostly it will be very useful. The data source is text, and some of them are images as well. So you can use the algorithm that's already there, the machine learning, the workflow, everything's. It's nice. From the unstructured data becomes structured data until the visualization. You have that already here. Okay, and many people also use this one, Netlytics, but it is not free, right? It is free. Netlytics is free, and you can use this for Twitter, YouTube, RSS feed. So it means that you can use for news as long as the news as RSS, or you can just upload your text as CSV files. So this is nice. So it means that you can use your own crawlers. You collect the data, put into a text or CSV, and then upload it to Netlytics. Okay, I think I can. Yeah, NVivo. It is not free. It is very useful, and I think many academic researchers, they use NVivo especially for discourse analysis. They can use this to analyze text. Yeah. Okay. About the crawling, some issue if we use Twitter. Okay. Twitter full archive, it is it's not free, it's premium, but the price is like this. If you pay, let's say, $100 US, you can only get 50,000 tweets. It's very expensive. So I think for you, for the academic, you should have this access. Twitter API for academic, it is free, right? And you can get a lot of data from the parse and historical. Yeah. And if you don't have academic access to Twitter, so what you can do? I think the same case with me. Like now, I don't have access for the academic. So what I use, I try to use the free search from the Twitter. The limitation like this is only have 7 days, but it's enough. I think for the social network analysis, for the topic that is currently being faced by my client, for example, for government, for companies, they want to have like real times, like now, right? The issue of today or yesterday. If you need the issue of a past time, usually very rare. Yeah, you need to do research. Some institution need that, but most institution they already can use this free search. Past is days or 7 days past, and then once you have that your monitoring started, you can do the real-time access. So Twitter also provide a real-time access to the API, and then you just collect the data. So this is what I doing, what I did in my system. So I use the two methods to get the past 7 days and then real-time data. And the strategy that I use is like this, because for the real-time data from the API, we call this Twitter streaming, right? I think some of you already know that you can check the Twitter and this API with the streaming data. For one streaming, it seems like you make a pipe. There's one pipe from your server to API, Twitter servers, and in one pipe you only allowed to have 400 keywords only. So if you need more than 400 keywords, so you need to have another pipe. So each of the pipe need one IP address, and because it is a lot of data and they need to store. In my case, I have several servers. So one servers like have one pipe to Twitter with 400 keywords. If I need more, and then I need add another server, and so on and so on, right? Like this. So it's just a trick, right, to get the data. And for Twitter, you can have the crawlers from the GitHub quite a lot, 967. You can just choose which ones are more popular there. For Facebook, it is very difficult now. You can have the crawler from the Facebook GitHub as well. From Instagram, I use Instagram as well to get the data. But for most of the data that I use in analysis for free, usually from Twitter, because the conversation is quite a lot, and which one keyword I almost had all the conversation for that keyword. I cannot do keyword search on Facebook easily, or keyword search from Instagram easily. It's not really easy there. Okay, so now we go to the social media analytic cases. What are the analytic that we are doing now? I can start with the very simple one, the trend analysis, and then we go to social network analysis and so on. I hope if the time is enough, and please moderator, let me know via voice, not from chat, if the time is up, because it might be long. Okay, starting from this one, the trend is very basic features. When you get the data, we will get the trend from the social media. But from this trend, in my experience, I can answer so many questions just from the trend only. For example, like this, I can pose question like, for an issue, how it starts, who shared the hoax in the beginning, right? And I can make a sorry. And sorry, I should put this somewhere, but okay. A lot of question like when did the hawk first appear, and when it occurred to the peak and a decline, and so on and so on, and what are the correlation and so on. So these are some insight that we can get. And I just give an example from the research question about the Wichituko, and in the past time there was a demonstration in Indonesia, and there was a poem by Wichituko. The poem is very popular, like this one, apabila usul ditolak, and so on and so on. Okay, Wichituko is one of the activists in Indonesia in past time, but and somehow it's become very popular in Indonesia. So the question is that who started and how it started, and how it become big, and so on. And first, if we search on Google Trend, there quite a lot of search on this time. Okay, and then if we try to match this with the data, simply you get it from Twitter. You can find correlation. People start to post on Twitter, and then not long after that, the Google Trend search will increase, because people start to ask question, why who is the Google, which to call. So once they understand which to call, and then they start to join the conversation. And the next day, the conversation about which to call is rising. Okay. And this is just an example. And then we can see when it started and what is the time and so on. This just, so I think it's about creativity. Once you have the question and you have the creativity in just simply using the trend, you can have a lot of questions. The second case is a social network analysis, SNA. Okay, social network analysis. It is a mapping of a relationship between people, organization, and topics and location. Yeah, and what we need here, we need a node and then links between the nodes. It's simple, and it's actually based on the graph theory, and there is a very small, the smallest unit of SNA, social network analysis. It's just 2 nodes and 1 links. For example, Alice likes Bob, like this one. Nodes and links. The link can be edge or relationship. We can call this or whatever, like this one. And the node usually called vertex as well. So if you have like 2 nodes and 1 link, can you say that social network analysis? Yes, this is the smallest one. Just this smallest one. And once we collect this diet, we call this diet. I don't know spelled in correctly in English, diet. And we have many of like that, and then we have a nice social network graph. Then we can make a lot of analysis like this one, degree of centrality, the betweenness centrality, the closeness, eigenvector, page rank, okay, whatever. I will not explain this in very detail. You can go to this link, but I will show you some examples and how we really use this, and this is very important. Like the degree of centrality, for example, this first one. We want to know who are the nodes which has the highest number of links to other nodes. Okay, the highest link to other nodes, and it is not necessary that the node is in the middle of the social network. And it can be, you know, if you can see like this one, Tana Jones is the highest degree of centrality because she has the highest number of links with the others, but his location is not in the middle of the social network analysis graph like this. And if we want to have somebody that in the middle, what we need to do to have betweenness. So we need to know the account that become the bridge, who are in the middle of other cloud or other nodes like this, or the clusters. We call these clusters. We have this cluster, second cluster, third, and so on. There's another cluster as well. And John Lavorato is in the middle, so become the like the bridge between the nodes. Okay, and so it's very important. Once we know this, you can come up with a equation, and then you can use your graph very nicely. You can make a lot of investigation. And just one example like this. It was in September 2019. In Indonesia, we have a demonstration, and quite many parties in Indonesia that work on these issues. And I try to map their hashtags and their topics, because I want to know how they communicate, whether they merge together or they just talk in their own clusters. I found like this. In Indonesia, we have opposition. And okay, in the context that the demonstration is related to, I think this one, RUU KUHP. So we have like law, the book of the law is quite a lot of verses there. And it covers so many issues. And then the legislative want to approve that. And actually, there's not much, and there's not enough conversation about this. So people start to demonstrate. And everybody go there with their own narrative. Like this one, the opposition always say negative about the government, especially our president. So they have the hashtag step down Jokowi, turunkan Jokowi, or in English, step down. So they ask Jokowi to step down. This is the hashtag from the opposition. And those who have demonstration are from student and activists. So this cluster actually, so they do the demonstration, and their hashtag is this one. Reformation is corrupted. Reformasi dikorupsi. Reformation is corrupted. So this is the hashtag that they have. And this is interesting. K-popers, the K-popers that use almost Indonesia, almost every day they make a hashtag and become trending almost every day. And they stop their conversation about their fan, about their idols, and they just somehow together they have this hashtag together. Diperkosa oleh negara. Diperkosa is fucked by the nation, by state. Sorry, fucked by the state. Oh, sorry, my bad word, because they use this bad word as well. Okay. But it's very interesting how they express that. And this one from the pro-government, they use a lot of hashtags pro-Jokowi related. I trust Jokowi, I together with Jokowi, Jokowi listen to the citizen, and so on. So we support Jokowi. And from this, we can see clusters of people. Apparently, they don't talk each other. They just talk within their own network. Okay. And in the middle, this is my account. It's my family. This is my account. So if you look at the bridge, I'm one of the bridge. So I'm not in any of the cluster, but I in between of the clusters, like this one. So you can see who are the betweeners. There's the highest degree of the betweeners. Who are the bridge? So you just look at here. So these are the account that become like the bridge between the clusters. And if you look at the centrality, who are the central? So just look at the account that have the size is huge, like this one. So they have a lot of retweet, because the link that I have here is I used in the Twitter retweet, okay, retweet network. The red one, the color of red mean the sentiment is negative. The green one, sentiment is positive. So you can merge here in the graph with the sentiment analysis, okay, and then the volume, okay, and the actors and the hashtag as well, okay. So you can get answer for what, who, and how, right, at the same time. So this is the SNA. So with this, you can find very important information related to between us and the centrality issues before. Okay, I will continue. What else? Once you have the SNA, what else that you can try to understand from the graph? You can get the closeness, centrality. Let me explain what is this. You can just go through it later. And it's difficult for me to go to next. And okay, sorry. And also, okay, these are some of the benefits of the centrality. We can find the celebrity who are the very popular people. Gossip, okay, we can find gossip. Communication bottlenecks, as I explained before about the hoax. Why the communication? There's the communication between the government and the one that make a hoax is not good because there is no bottleneck or a communication breach. There is no breach at this moment. Okay. So these are the benefit of social network analysis. And in SNA, we can find component and clicks. If we go through more in understanding the social network, we can have like island here. What is this? So actually, you have all the nodes, but if you want to put it into a graph, you have some limitation. Not all of the data you can put there. If you have a million of nodes, of course, it's very difficult to put into one graph. Maybe your computer will got hangs, right? And because I use browser, and then the network, the browser will got hang as well. They cannot process a lot of data. So what you need to do is to just limit the number of nodes. You can just want to show the most important nodes. Let's say, just take 500, 1,000, 10,000, or 15,000. In my case, I just limit to 15,000 only. But actually, the number of account can be more than that, right? It can be maybe 50,000, or maybe 100,000. With this, it have an impact. we can have like each node here. It's this one like an island. Each island is like clusters, as you can see before. If you want to graph like this one, so it means that you have a lot of account will be there. So you can see only one island and two island, right? You can see two islands because because you can see two nodes, two clusters. When you increase, but when you reduce the number of nodes, you can get something like this. The last one, you can finally get 3 clusters. Okay, because you only you only able to display very few number of nodes, like nodes account in the first cluster, second cluster, or third cluster. So you cannot display the rest of the nodes here. So this will it will make an impact on the graph, and you can see also the importance of the cluster as well by reducing the number of nodes and something like that. And you have echo networks, for example, like Joe Biden and real Donald Trump. I did this when we have the presidential election in United States. I want to know actually at that moment. My question is that how the two candidates of the president in the United States, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, they're connected. How they directly connected to their team, to their people, to their group. When I get this, my conclusion is that Joe Biden is connected directly to nodes here. So only few of them have a big node. Yeah, but it's different with Donald Trump here. Here, almost half of them are like individual accounts connected to individual or big account. But here, I can see that almost half of them are connected to other nodes. So like in the graph, it's very clear that Donald Trump is supported by so many subnodes, so many or several social network or social media teams. Yeah. Because like this one, they try to mention Donald Trump, and then they have their own groups. It's different from Joe Biden. Joe Biden is more natural compared to Donald Trump in that case. So it is interesting to see, get the finding from the social network analysis. And more on social network analysis, you can have a triad where 3 nodes are linked together. And what are the benefits of this triad? You can analyze terrorist groups like this, because usually terrorists will not connect it to many people, but just connect to some of them, right? And in my case, we have key poppers, and they just connected to their friend and friend of a friend, friend of a friend, and there is no one big account in the middle. This one, when they talk about Wiki2Go at that moment, remember the Wiki2Go trend. And if I try to make a social network analysis of them, the conversation is like this. The key poppers in Indonesia, they don't have central account. They don't have, there's no such centrality. It's just like a triad. They make a small network among them, spread. Okay. You can use triad in politics as well, and we have like a clique, like a friend. If you are in a school or you have like a small group of students, right? We call them clique. We can have this kind of as well, clique in social network. Okay, for example, I have this. There was the Khilafah. It's just one of a movie in Indonesia. And what I call this, there was some component like a cluster. This one big component, the second big component, the third big component, and this come from different groups. And this one interesting. You see, click only 3 accounts. They communicate to each other, but the link, the link is very tight. It means the conversation, the rate width between them is so the volume is so high. And they don't talk with the rest. They just talk with 3 of them. So we call this click. And usually click indicate a buzzers or a robot. So this is very interesting. Quite often that we can found click and just talk among them in the conversation in social media, especially related to a political party, presidential election or something like that. Okay. how we can use all of the theory to analyze this. Okay, I have a nice example. Once I try to analyze the Ministry of Finance. Okay, so the keyword is the Ministry of Finance in Indonesia, because it is interesting things that to analyze. You know, in Indonesia, there are topics like foreign debt, okay, tax, about corruption, how the money being used for the development, and so on. 73% for health, and but the rest for the infrastructure and so on. So much thing related to Ministry of Finance. And once we analyze this, we have a huge group of people with the colors of red. And so it means the sentiment is so negative about the Ministry of Finance. Okay, and they come from the opposition. And if we want to look at who are the main actors, we can just simply read it directly like this. These are Ramli, Saididu, and so on. Okay, and where are the government official account? Here, Kemenko RI on the other side, and the colors are green. So it means the sentiment is positive, of course. They talk about themselves and about their program. The sentiment always positive. And who are the supporter of the official account of the Ministry of Finance? We can find here, this is like pajak Bukit Tinggi, pajak something. So it's like a tax office, okay? The tax office in every region, and they have accounts. So they amplifying what's being posted by the Ministry of Finance. Interesting. And they group together here. And we have a nice account here, Prasto. He's my friend. He's very smart, and he is actually a senior staff of the Ministry of Finance. And then he's very active in the social media and try to debunk any issues, maybe negative issues from the opposition. And he is here. So, you know, we can see the structure of the opposition and the government and how they work together. Okay, and we can also find like this one, the clique here, but this like subgroup here. It is not. It's very suspicious for me. And then when I look at that, it is like amplifier. It is like a buzzers. And when I look at again, I want to see whether this kind of buzzers from the ministry or from other team, why they are here. So reading this group, reading this social network analysis, so we can like see what's going on in the conversation related to Ministry of Finance and how they tackle the issues. And from this as well, we can give a suggestion to the government what they need to do. For example, here, it's very nice that Mr. Prastowo is here, but it will be very nicer if his position is in the middle like this one, or maybe very close to the red one. So it means that his conversation, his opening debunking will go directly to the opposition or critics. Okay. Like this one is nice, and this is subnetwork. This come to my attention why there are subnetwork like this, and why they are not talking together with the other account, and why they are here instead of facing directly the opposition. Right? And if you look at here, so mostly they just have like a hashtag. They just talk together with them. Then they have no purpose to talk with the opposition. So their task is to increase the conversation about the program of the government. So the purpose is different. It's for the positive message. And apparently some of them already suspended by Twitter because of the spam. So probably some of them are bots, like robots. Some of them, not all of them are robots, of course. But their task is to amplify hashtag something. So yeah, okay. So that's interesting, right? If we look at the SNA before, and we can answer a lot of questions, and we can answer a question like something related to actors as well. And from the actor, we can have the question in a conversation in a social network analysis. Who are the people to start the conversation? Who are the group that make the conversation? Are there any other group that have that conversation as well? And for example, for Wiki2Go conversation. How we know who start the conversation? Just from the trend. Actually, from the trend itself, with you remember this one, this graph before? What we can see is the Google trend is here, but actually the conversation was started a day before. It was the 5th of October, so actually the 4th of October. And we have very small conversation and nobody noticed that. So actually there are already some conversations, not by the key poppers, but by the activists. But because these activists is not very popular, so their post is not attracting to something. But just the next day, it's become somebody from the key poppers pick up that and then boom, become viral. Yeah. And as I said before, who are there who make a conversation? For example, this one is the same topic about the Wiki2Go before. The question is that who talk about it? Like this one, who actually talk about this Wiki2Go? Okay, and once I make this graph, I understand that I don't know who are there because I never know that name. Okay, and then what I did is try to make the avatars. Okay, this very simple technique, just showing the avatar in a row like this. Visually, you can see, wow, it seems like a K-popper. Usually, K-poppers they use K-pop idols as the profile, right? And most of them are avatars from the K-poppers. Yeah, and then I can say that this is one is K-poppers without doubt. Okay, it's not a student, it's not opposition. There's no other, but K-poppers. Okay, this is an example of how we can use the SNE, and then we can use the avatars, set of avatars to understand who are the actors behind a conversation. And what's next that we can analyze? Okay, and we can usually we already know who, okay, who and how the conversation works, and who are the actors, and now we want to know what. Okay, what are the topics? How we can see the topics, because it's very important also in a social network analysis to understand what are the topics. And I just give an example in a real world, how I use a simple technique to understand the topics of the conversation. In Indonesia, if you remember, if you know, we have an omnibus law issue last year, or this last year, right, 2020. Okay, and there was a war there at that moment, and we have a trend like this actually, and the K-poppers was here in the beginning, and then followed by this one. This one very active. Okay, the anatomy of the issue is like this. It was started from nothing and then become viral for several days, and then going down and then down and down and down. Okay, and the question is that what they are talking about. What are the topics? What are the topic in the beginning? What are the topic during the viral? What are the topic after that, and so on, right? We want to know that. Okay. To answer that question, this is what I did. I tried to segment, make a segment, make 3 segments like this. Okay, the first one is before the conversation about the omnibus law is viral. The second one is during the viral, and the third one is after. For the first one, what you can see, just list the hashtag. What are the hashtags during this period? Batalkan omnibus law. So when I look at this, for those who cannot read this in Indonesia, all of these are hashtags from the opposition and from the activists and from students. They reject omnibus law. Okay. The second one, okay, here, Mosi tidak percaya and so on, almost all of this, the same. From the K-poppers and students, they reject omnibus law. Okay, second group here, and the third group is different. Omnibus law berkah, so it means that the hashtag is accepting omnibus law. The hashtag say that omnibus law is good for Indonesia, very contrast than before, and so on and so on. So you can see there are some change in the topic. See, after the student and K-popers, they stop making this hashtag viral in social media, and then the pro-government, they have their own hashtag and their own hashtag to support the omnipersonal. So you can see how the dialectica, the engagement, the conversation using the hashtag between the opposition, the activists, the student, and the pro-government, and so on, from this social media, just using trend and hashtag like that. Okay, next one. So what's this? Mr. Munif, please let me know if I have to stop, right?
We still have time until 12, but we need to make sure maybe 15 or 10 minutes for a question and answer session.
Okay, so how many more minutes for me to present?
Maybe 7 minutes until 10 minutes is still okay.
Okay, I'll make it 5 minutes. Yeah, so maybe we'll have more questions. Okay. Yeah. About location. Okay, location is important. You know, that's very interesting. If we can get the location of the users, one thing that we can get information about location is from the Twitter profiles like this. This is my account. I put my location correctly in Jakarta Selatan, DKI, and so on. So we can extract this, and then we can convert it into Google Map location, right? But what's interesting is when we apply this geolocation information, so we know how the topic become viral, where is it, and compare it to others. I use this, for example, for the new normal. You know, new normal during COVID-19. There was a moment in Indonesia that we start to have a new normal. There was we have like a very small lockdown, something like that, and then we start to the president want to have like a new normal like this. So in the beginning, the conversation about new normal is very low, mostly by non-Indonesian. But somehow, by 26th of May, our president visiting a mall, and he got feedback that so many business was going down. People got the difficulty with the economy, and then the president said, "Okay, let's have a new normal." Okay, and since that, since 26th of May, the conversation about new normal is so high. So the question is that new normal is in English. Whether it is this term is very popular, not only in Indonesia, but also maybe other countries. And I want to know, is there any other countries that talk about new normal? Okay. And I found when I map the location, I got something like this. Okay, the bigger the circle like this one is the bigger the number of conversation. Apparently only in Indonesia I found like the big circle, and the other is very small. Okay, this one is very clear. Okay, this one is Indonesia, and then United States, United Kingdom, and so on. So other country, they rarely talk about new normal, even though new normal is an English term. But Indonesia, new normal is very popular. I thought at that moment is that other people, other country also, they have their own new normal. But so new normal is very Indonesian. The conclusion is that new normal is very Indonesian because no other country used new normal, only Indonesia at that moment. Okay, so this one is interesting that how we come up with that idea, and with this other country in the world during COVID-19 is not considering yet to have new normal. And this one is sentiment analysis. I will make it fast. Probably most of you already know how to do the sentiment analysis to make to understand whether sentiment is positive, negative, or neutral. And what I did usually is like this. If you have the conversation, I make it for every paragraph, and I want to understand for every paragraph whether it is positive, negative, or neutral. It is not easy actually. You know, this paragraph has 3 subjects. J.P. Iskandar is a judge. Is a judge. Setia Novanto is the one is corruptor. Okay, and KPK is our corruption commission. Okay, anti-corruption commission. Okay, and the question is that what is the sentiment of this whether it's positive, negative, or neutral. If we look at from the point of view of let's say Setia Novanto, it is the corruptor. This paragraph is positive. Why? Because the status of the Novanto is rejected by the judge. So I mean, it is a good news for Novanto, and it's good news for Novanto, but it's bad news for KPK because Novanto win in that event, but KPK lose in that event. So it is negative for KPK, but positive for Novanto. It can be neutral for CP Iskandar. So just one same sentence, one same paragraph can have positive or negative or neutral. It's really depend on who are the subject, who is the sentiment measured for. Can be for CP, Novanto, or KPK. It's very important. And how we do that? If there are two types of sentiment analysis, there are two approach: lexicon-based approach or machine learning approach. Lexicon-based is like this one. Just counting the number of positive minus negative word. For example, here we can see 2 positive word. So it's mean that if we use lexicon approach, any for any subject, can be for Novanto, KPK, or CP Iskandar, the sentiment always positive because the total number of the words are positive, right? It is not possible for us with lexicon base to have a different sentiment result. But using machine learning, and then different, because we can learn, we can teach the machine if the subject is CP and then neutral. If the subject is Setia Novanto, then positive. The subject is KPK and then negative. And then the machine learning will try to learn if there are some other example, because they will measure based on the subject, and then they can have a different sentiment of this. So it is very interesting, right? So in my case, I use machine learning based because we can have it's mean that at some point they know the context. Yeah? At some point. Okay. What if the sentiment analysis is not correct? If you do the sentiment analysis, so mostly it's like machine learning problem, right? A decision problem. Okay. Whether it is positive or negative or neutral. And we never have 100% accuracy. In my case, I ever got the best accuracy was 85%. It is a lab grade, so it means that the training data and so on is very nice. But for Twitter, we have any subject, any way of writing and so on. Then I never have maybe 80%. But for my clients, business, it's not enough. They want to have like 99%. It's just not possible. So what I did is I give the result from the machine learning to our analysts. So we analyze again to make sure if the sentiment is not correct, then it will be corrected by our analysts. Of course, this is a very practical approach, and for your own for the academic research, usually you will work on the machine learning, which one is the best to get the highest accuracy. Okay. But for the practical one, we can combine human and machine, just like this, to get the highest accuracy. Okay, and then what we can analyze, we can have the emotion analysis. In psychology, we have this one, the Plotchik wheel of emotion. And emotion are divided into joy, trust, fear, surprise, sadness, disgust, anger, anticipation, something like that. And it is very easy because I like to know what are the emotion of the public when they have a new normal, for example, when they got the joy, when they trust it, something. And how I do this, I didn't use machine learning. I simply use lexicon based. So it's mean that for every category of the emotion, I have a list of keywords. This one, it's Indonesia. Of course, you need to have the keyword in your own language. I put Indonesia and English together to make sure that maybe some of the speaker speak not only not only Indonesia but also in English. So once you have all of these entries. So you can apply it simply just using recurrent expression, and then you can get for every post, whether it is come to the category of joy or trust or something. And then let's test that on the new normal before, right? So we want to know whether people, what are the emotion of the people. Voila, this is what I got. The first one is trust. Trust, what is trust? Does people trust with the president? Does people trust with the new normal that will be good? And then we go through the content. What are the topics that come to this category of trust? These are the topics. I took 1, 2, 3, 5. 5 that got a lot of and most retweet. And I found out that most of them have no trust because the case is so high, the curve is still up, there is a possibility of second wave, the number of tests is very small. Why we go to new normal? So almost all of them have a distrust on this. So using this method, this very simple method, we can see most people are, they don't believe, Mr. President, we don't believe that new normal is a good idea. Okay, this is the way, right? We try to convert this noise and everything become a signal, right? And from this, we want to know, okay, this conversation is done by buzzers, by robot, or by natural people. Yeah. So we can just look at those people here. This one are buzzers from the opposition. This one is the second one is professional. This one can be a buzzers. This one is professional, and this one is professional again. So it's mixed between the opposition and the professional. So it's so the question is that, can we trust this result? Yes, I think so, because not only the opposition but also the professional, they don't trust with this new normal. Okay. Okay, then there's another analysis. This nice one with the demography to get with what are the age, whether we are man or woman, right? And there's already these agendas. Okay, this library. I use this library just because it's very nice. I just using machine learning, and I get to get the demography analysis for my data. I make it quick. Just an example of this, so we can divide the age according to this group. Yeah, before 18, 19 to 29, and so on. And we can compare the conversation about this one is Pancasila, Indonesian very important what's called dasar, the base of Indonesia. And this one conversation about the which you took all before. Most of the conversation is done by young generation. The old generation is very few. But if we talk about Pancasila, old generation, they come up. They join the conversation. Okay. And this is the last one, the bot analysis. The bot analysis, I use the API from Indiana University. So there is a botometer. We call this botometer. It is free service. In this case, what I did for every account, I take the profile and the last 200 tweet and send it to them, and they will give the bot score. Similar, because they don't share the algorithm, but they share the service. Okay, and they use machine learning. There are 1.2 thousand features that they use for this machine learning to define whether it is bot or not. And they give a score actually from 0 to 5. 0 is human, 5 is bot. So in between is cyborg. Okay. And how it is beneficial for us? For example, we have two movie at that moment in Indonesia. The first one is Tilik. That first movie, a very short movie. People love it, and they start to have conversation. And here, almost all the conversation is done by human. But there's another movie. It's difficult to be very popular, and they use bots. They use cyborgs to amplify it. And even human is small. The number of humans is very small. Okay, so you know it is very nice to have these features. You can spot here where are the robots in the social network, so you can combine sentiment analysis, social network analysis, and bot analysis in one graph. It's nice. Okay, as the closing is that as the conclusion. social media analytics has many applications and can be used by many industry and a lot of features to do research. So I hope this one will open some ideas for you if you're interested to do some research or anything related to social media analytics. It's not only sentiment analysis, can be any other analysis. Okay. Okay, I think that's all. I'm sorry if there are some disturbance during my presentation. Okay, I return to the moderator. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ismail Fahmi, for your presentation. Okay, right now we will go to the question and answer session. If you have any question, you can ask directly by raising your hand, or you can also type your question in the chat box. Okay, thank you. Okay, any question so far? Okay, maybe you can raise your hand and you can ask directly. Okay, maybe if there is still no question from the participant, maybe I will ask. I have several questions for Dr. Ismail Fahmi regarding these topics. Maybe. Okay, the first one, maybe about the privacy part of this research topic, I think, because as far as we know, the Facebook have some kind of privacy problem in the past because of the data leak and so on. So how about the using Twitter data like this? Is it how about the privacy? Can we still keep the privacy of the people, or maybe we can get the privacy? We melanggar bahasa Inggrisnya, Pak. We can we can get the privacy problem in the future. Okay. And the second one, maybe about the second one about the implication of this kind of research. As far as I see on your research, it can be used for good or bad, or maybe in the opposite section of the party, maybe from the government and also the opposite side of the government. So how we can make sure that it is not used badly in this kind of research. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. First, about the privacy. Yes, indeed. There are some research already about the privacy on Twitter. So what they do is actually, when we analyze, we got the account name, right? Okay. And whether, the question is that whether we can use their conversation, because let's say we use the keyword new normal, we have million or hundred of thousand conversation from, let's say, 10,000 account. The idea, so the researcher, there was an article. The idea is that whether it is doable, it is makes sense to ask permission to every account before we process that. So even it is a very extreme situation. We want to have permission that we from every user for us to analyze that. And in the example in the paper, they mentioned that just from the 1,000, they just take hundreds, and then they try to contact account using the DM, email, or whatever, and very few answer the questions. So if we use that method, let's say if we analyze the data and we only allowed to analyze the conversation if we got permission from the owner, it is not possible at all. Just not possible. We have done that and that's not possible. So nothing happened. So in this case, is that what we are doing is we use the public conversation. As long as the user set it as public, so it means that they ready their conversation be used by being read, being captured, by distributed by everybody in the internet. If they set as private, so it means that they don't want it. Okay, I think the conclusion is come up with good like this, like that. And other way is that if we publish something, okay, if we don't want to expose the account name, so then we hide the account name. We just make note 1, note 2, note 3, and so on. But then become meaningless. Who are there? Who are the notes? And so it is really come back to depend on the subject. If maybe if we talk, if we in computer science and we don't want to, and we are not interested in the name of the account, we just want to get, okay, this note number 1 and so on is enough in the computer science, then we use the coded name. But in politics, maybe, and related to other issues, we need to have a name. We have to have like name of institution, name of doctor, name of fake account, and so on. Then we mention that as well. So I think this is the privacy issue that we face, and then how we solve that. And in my case, as long as we don't grab conversation from the private account, then or we limit to the public conversation, then should be okay.
Okay, thank you.
For the second one, okay, the implication of this technology for the good and bad, and I think wise there are there are two cases of this. For example, in my case, this technology is being used by Ministry of Information and Communication, Kominfo. We have Kominfo for good causes. In 2017, we have an issue with the negative content related to pornography and gambling, online gambling. And apparently there are some links between the pornography and the online gambling. Before using this technology, they use almost a semi-manual and reporting and so on, and then it's got a few number of account, few number of links. With this technology, it's really helped them, so it is okay. And what about the use by bad purposes? And in my cases, I have a lot of use case in politics. Okay, and what I did is that, you know, information become very important and rare and expensive. It is rare, yeah. But information become, the price of information become zero if we make it like a commodity, and or if we share it. Then so people cannot sell that information. So this is what I do. We have a conversation about in political party, for example, in a presidential election. Okay, and people need to understand what is going on, and then I share the data so everybody know that. From the candidate one can see that, from the candidates two see that, from everybody can see that. So the price of this information is zero. You cannot sell this information because everybody can get it for free. So it really depends on and how you use that for good and bad, because we always can use it for good and for bad. Any information can be used for it. And this is one way, and especially in my case, in how to make the analytics become useful. And if let's say, you know, if this information is very limited and only being used by those that have a bad intention, when actually the same information can be used by those with good intention, right? And then it is not fair. Those with bad intention will have the information and we have the power. So in my case, I make it free, so everybody can read it.
Oh, okay, thank you, Dr. Ismail Fahmi. Okay, maybe from the participant, if you have any question, you can ask directly by raising your hand. Okay, we have one question from Ida Bagus Ade Renata. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you for
Hello.
the
Yeah.
hello, hi. Thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon, everyone. So from the previous presentation, it's really obvious that K-popers, they always like showed up in every in every trends and every topics and everything. And obviously what they post are irrelevant with the actual topic. So what do you think about this phenomena, and how does this affect your social media analysis? Thank you.
Shall I answer directly, Mr. Munif?
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mas Ida Bagus, for the question about the K-popers. You know, K-popers, they have their own topics and interests, and actually they don't come to all topics. You know, for example, the example that I gave before related to Wichitukul or the demonstration, it's very rare actually. It's not always they do that, because almost every day they're interested on their own topics if they use the K-popers account, right? Because usually users with the K-popers account, usually they have their own real account or other account. But once they use the K-popper account, and usually, mostly, almost every day, they talk about K-popers topics, about the birthday, about collecting money for the planting tree or something for the good thing, something like that. But and once we have the topic of politics and almost every day, they don't join it. This is in my analysis. They don't join the band unless maybe they have their own other account, actual account, because some of the K-popers, they are student, and student may be in student of social, politics, science, and law, just like the others, and they use their own account to talk about this topic. So in my experience, I saw two big events where K-popers stopped talking about their own topics. The first one, that one, and the other one is on omnibus law. Okay, the omnibus law and RUU KUHP, the law, Indonesian law. Okay, and not always. So I think I feel safe if we analyze any issue from the K-popers, because they will not join it almost everything like that.
Okay, so thank you for your answer. Okay, maybe we have one question from the chat room from the Baskoro Adi Pratomo. So you're asking about how to interpret the drone template graphs you presented earlier. Do the graphs only give information about the person who has the biggest influence, or is there any else we can get from the graphs, like identifying hooks and so on?
Yeah, the information from the drone plate is not much as from KP. Okay, it is different. KP is very good, and they really provide all the variables. In my case, because it is not designed solely for research, but to help professional doing their job. But we provide output, so people can download the SNA data, the nodes and the links, and then they can combine together and upload it to KP, the tools, and then make a graph. And then so there you can get more information about the betweenness score, the centrality score, and so on. But from the graph that I developed itself, we can get more information actually. Like if we click the links, we know what are the conversation that mostly discussed between them. And if we click an account, we can get the profile of the account and what are they talking about during there. So mostly we want to answer the question like who are the most influential and who are connected to these people. What are they talking about? Because we can see the context, why it is red, why it is green, and how they group each other, how they make a friend, how they fight, and so on. And sometimes I add times. Okay, I make a SNA but with times, so we know when that happened, and also the location. Sometimes I also put the location there, so we can see who are connected to Jakarta. So we can see the account that grew up in Jakarta, or other city or location, and so on. Yeah, so that was it. The purpose of the social network analysis graph that I developed, mostly to answer the who, what, when, where, how, something like that.
Okay, thank you. So hopefully, Baskoradi, are you satisfied with the answer, or you have any confirmation? Oh, okay, thanks. Okay, maybe because the time limitation, I think this is the last question from Michael Sick. Hello, Pak Michael.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
okay.
Thank you so much. This is the last time. I want to make it really quick. Thank you so much for the comprehensive presentation from Dr. Ismail. Thank you. My questions, there are two. First question is regarding the social network analysis. As we see from the dashboard, the content is much more on magnitude. So that means the number of tweets, etc., etc. But we need to have more useful information, such as dynamical pattern, yeah, of the development of social network due to maybe some event. Yeah, maybe there are some transition to chaos, maybe. And the second one is regarding the hoax. Yeah. So somehow we don't need to have ground truth. So that means we cannot use machine learning with supervised techniques. So how can we do the unsupervised learning using machine learning, of course, but there's no any interaction with the human as well, because for certain cases, for instance, we want to predict the crypto prices. We don't want to have human involvement in that inference. How can we do that? Thank you so much.
Welcome. Okay, thank you, Mr. Michael, for the questions. It's very interesting. So the first one is about the social network analysis. And sometimes we want to know the dynamics, because, you know, if we have one graph, social network analytics, we only show the graph of one specific period, right? But we want to know it's like how it develops, right? And this is my approach. Okay, I give an example from my other slides. Apparently, okay, this is just an example that this one graph below. There was a demonstration in Indonesia, and I make this graph by hour. So this is the first 30 of September from 18 hour, 19, and so on. From the 18 hour, so what we do is like just make an SNA for that hour. I have this one. So this is the first hour. This is the first hour of a hashtag mahasiswa pelajar anarkis. So there was a demonstration in Indonesia, and the student they used their hashtag. The hashtag was Kejayaan memanggil in Indonesia. But and then after the demonstration, they go home, and so we are in the afternoon. There's a hashtag mahasiswa and pelajar is anarchist. So it means the students are anarchists. Okay. So it is fair, the contra narrative of what have students developed during the day, right? And I would like to know how it's developed. And the develop is very interesting. Just take the first hour. It's apparently started by a setiap hari giveaway. So every day giveaway. So it's just an account with just nothing. Just say, okay, this is a giveaway. If you retweet this, I will give you 50,000 rupiah. And there's another account, anonymous account, they retweeted. The next hour, you can see here, we got more, right? This is the first one in the beginning, and this one another account. The second hour, we have another account. And if you look at this, apparently, these are the account of the student. And the student used the same hashtag. And the end of the day, so in the midnight, we can see like this. The starter of the conversation is here. But at the end of the day, it's become huge, the SNA. But the conversation is done by student. So the same hashtag is taken over by student by posting a nice graph and picture and so on. Something okay. So you know this, right? My graph. If we want to have like the dynamic, we need to have like the display of the social network as a movie, as an animation. It's not only one, but we have like this. We can divide the period, and then we have the same insight: the beginning, in the middle, at the end, even the next day. I saw in the I don't know. Okay, this is the next day, the second graph. The second day is huge. We got the chaos, and we combine these two graphs. And the interesting thing is that we get this one, and this one starter, and then these are the student with the orange notes. They talk the hashtag before, okay, and the blue one is the hashtag from the student. And apparently, these two group of students, they don't mix. And when I asked student why is that, apparently these are the students from Jakarta, the orange one. The blue one, a student from Yogyakarta, from two different places. And the other case happened in Jakarta. So there, after the demonstration, they start to have like a fire or anything. Not in Yogyakarta. Yogyakarta is very nice, very good. But in Jakarta, we can see that. So student in Jakarta, they use this hashtag. So this next example of, I think what we can do is to be creative using the SNA, combine it with the timeline and so on. So we can get the nice insight. Okay, and then about hoax. Hoax is difficult, I think, here, because if we talk about hoax, we talk about truth, right? One text, one image, or one video, it is hoax or not, machine didn't know, because there should be ground truth in this case to define whether it is hoax or not. Even the same and correct video, it is hoax because the context is different and the computer didn't know it. And at some point, there was some deep learning method to analyze the hoax. In Indonesia, we have cek fakta. Cek fakta, fact checker, like fact check. We have, I think now we have like 5,000 hoax and non-hoax together debunked whether it is hoax or not. Okay, and then so it's mean that we have a data set for the machine learning, and there are some competition to use machine learning to analyze hoax, and the accuracy is very high. It can be 90% or something like that using deep learning. But it is really based on the data set that we have. If we have a different issue and we have no ground truth, there's no example or something, maybe the machine will mislead with something. Okay, I think that's one. We cannot 100% sure the result. I think the same with the machine, with the sentiment analysis, and it's not 100%. But maybe at some point we have like an indication, as some examples done by the previous works. As I know, using the deep learning, they got a very good accuracy in defining whether it is a hoax or not. But the data source or the format is text. It's not image. It's not video. It's different. It's just text. I think that's all, Mr. Munif.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ismail Fahmi. Unfortunately, we are at the end of our session. So before closing the session, I would like to thanks for Dr. Ismail Fahmi for giving a lecture. Hopefully we can meet again in the future. Hopefully, yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Munif. Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay. Bye. Thank you. Okay, so this is the end of our workshop session. I will give the time to the MC. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Zakir Hossen, Ph.D., and Ismail Fahmi, Ph.D., as well as Abdul Munif for moderating those workshops.
The next session is break time and followed by the video competition of student research, which will be held at 12 until 12:30 p.m. To all participants, both authors and presenters, please kindly attend the session before the allocated time.
After the video competition of student research finished, we will have closing remark of second day of ICTS 2021 by Conference Chair Hudan Studiawan, Ph.D.
On behalf of the committee, as well as the Department of Informatics and Institut Teknologi 10 November, we would like to apologize for any inconvenience.
Thank you very much for coming in the second day of ICTS 2021.